Greetings everyone. I wanted to do a quick tutorial because I believe this is something that should be common knowledge, and unfortunately some people maybe haven't realized this, but there is a proper way to cut down trees in the newest foraging update in Hypixel Skyblock. And I think that some of these things are just going unnoticed. Now, first things first, you're going to definitely be starting out with fig trees. Now, how to cut them down is actually quite simple. Now, we do start from the bottom, and this will go up depending on how much sweep we have, because sweep is actually the foraging power, let's say, of how quickly we can forage these blocks, how many blocks we do forage as well. On another note, there's also a place that you can check out your sweep and everything else about this. By going to swoop, you will see here that it says the location, the toughness, and the style. As you can see, you start with the trunk, then you go into the branches. Now, additionally, you can see that here we have sweep, toughness, and style. So sweep increases the amount of your logs that you can cut in a row with your axes, and the toughness heavily reduces the effect of sweep. So like I said, sweep is like the foraging strength that you can have. The more strength you have, the easier it's going to be. Now, another important thing is here. If you want to see how you perform, you can click sweep details. So this will exactly give you the information. As you can see here, if I'm going to be cutting the tree wrong, never mind. If I start cutting the tree wrong, it will show me that I'm doing the wrong style, minus 50 sweep, and I only break 8.7 logs. Cut the trunk first. So you start from here, and now I have 16.2. So we start from the bottom, and then we take off all of these branches. Now this is quite simple. However, there is one thing that I believe really goes unnoticed, and that is the sound effects. Now, I will make sure that you will hear this louder, but these random explosions that you hear while chopping down these trees aren't random. They actually do have a meaning, and I'll show you what kind of meaning it has. So, starting it out from this tree, if we chop this down, no sound, no sound. Now, this sound happens especially on branches, and you will see this exceptionally on mangroves. Did you just hear that explosion? And look, just this segment is gone. That means that this branch is cut down, and it gave us an audio cue that we have cut down a branch. Now, if I cut down this one, we got another one. And another one. And the whole tree. And as you can see, this does actually have a meaning. Those explosions aren't just complete random sounds. And that is something that I think people should actually know how to use, especially when doing things quickly. So the fig trees, they're quite simple. Start from the bottom, jump up, do the branches. Now with mangroves, this is a little bit different and tricky because some of these trees, as you can see here, they are really branched out, and you definitely need to have some sort of cod potion in order to have that jumping boost, because the jumping on these trees definitely much easier, because AOTE does work, but sometimes you can just get stuck on these vines, and skill issue, whatever, when zooming through, cutting down trees, sometimes in certain areas it can get a little bit buggy, especially with how many people are playing. The TPS is just crazy. So with these trees, actually, I'll let you hear the sound cues. Now this is important because the way you cut down mangrove trees is from the top. We start off from all of these branches. Once the top is down, we have to do the trunk, and then you do the roots. Now, why is this important? Because if I only start from the root, you will see that my sweep is much less compared to even an axe throw on the top. Now, yes, I do have Missile 5, but that was still 50% of my sweep, and it did much more. So why do we start from the top? And you can hear the obvious audio cues. Now, those explosions mean that that part of the tree is done. Now, all of these sounds are great, but look, now we still have the trunk here. Now, this is another important part. Let me once again do the root. You'll see it goes maybe 5 blocks or something like that. But let's listen for the audio cue for the trunk. because it also has one. That was it. So it's a random amount of blocks that you need to destroy. It kind of, all of these certain parts have its own HP. So imagine that for the top part of the tree, you also have a HP pool for that, because as you can maybe notice, certain times, in order to destroy the whole top of the tree, you don't actually need to destroy all of the blocks. So let me just do this, maybe to not destroy all of them. This one I didn't destroy, and see, it was gone because I did most of the top. So it kind of has this HP pool, and then we can easily do the roots and it just flies by. So the same thing applies for these trees. We start from the top. And see, I'm going to deliberately leave these blocks out. If I just destroy this, boom, tree's gone. That was the top part HP pool. Now that the top part is done, we are not debuffed by 50% of the center trunk. Explosion happened. Now I know that if the explosion happened, I can just go from the bottom and just destroy all of these roots, because they will absolutely just zoom into the collection in the middle. And this is something that I feel has gone maybe unnoticed by me personally. And I think once I figured this out, it definitely helped out with understanding how to easily cut down these trees, besides just the sweep and everything else that has been added in here. And it's just been a little bit, maybe I wouldn't say confusing, but it definitely does have some sort of impact here, and it does help for how you're supposed to be cutting down these trees. And I think that's very important, because we all do cut down these trees for a reason. We're farming all of those parts, we're doing all these things just for nothing. No, we want to do this efficiently, just like everything else in Skyblock. So I just wanted to give a couple of those examples. So especially for mangroves, this is kind of important to know when you can actually proceed to the next part. So chopping down the top part, that's quite simple. I do recommend for mangroves that you do go for Missile 5. Now, my Heart of the Forest isn't anything special. I went down the middle, to the left, and up to the right. I am not Heart of the Mountains, Heart of the Forest 6 yet. A couple levels into the center of the forest, and I just went through the middle. I went a little bit into the Foraging Wisdom, not to spend a lot of the Whispers, and everything else is in Sweep and a little bit in Fortune as well, in order to up those profits. But I want you to one more time listen to this audio cue, and it's there for a reason. That was it. That means that the trunk is gone. Now if I do this, look at how much more, right, my sweep is working. And it's so much more. Like, look at this whole part. Boom, just gone completely. Compared to, one more time, a tree that hasn't been done that way. You know, 5-6 blocks maybe. So that does make a huge difference, and that's what I wanted to show you. And that's honestly it. Just straight to the point. So thanks. See you in the next one.